wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness is my old friend. You get me till at the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. Ah, I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. 'Cause darkness, your friend, you get me till the
It's like the ticking of time, rumbling, feeling, wondering could this be right? What's meaning? So when you said your mind, I was already gone. I was away from home.
And it is great to be here live from Facebook and from YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for joining us live. As you said, Velocity versus ISRL League versus League event. And it is going to be a very exciting couple of races ahead of us. Of course, Velocity versus ISRL, a really exciting matchup. I can't wait to be commentating it alongside you as we get ready for the first race of the evening.
So our gamers from Velocity Esports Racing, they're all Maltese, but the ISRL, it stands for the International Sim Racing League. Can you tell us something about ISRL, Noah?
Well, ISRL just started actually just over a couple days ago. It became 1 year old, and ISRL has been really and amazingly have been able to be a part of for the past couple of months as the head commentator for Tier 1. And it's just an amazing league. We have so many talented drivers from across the globe, many different countries competing in our league. We have 3 different Formula tiers. We have a GT Sport League and soon to be a Assetto Corsa Competizione League. And we just are so excited to be part of this event. And ISRL, of course, competing all the time. And we're getting ready for season 4 next in 2021. And I'm really, really excited for us to begin. So also tell me about Velocity as well. So excited to be competing against yourselves.
Of course, Velocity Esports Racing. Right now, we're in the second season. Exactly, we are this eighth race of the second season. We're heading now to France for the next race in 2021. Right now, we're on a break. Our drivers are on a break, but of course, our break is not so long because we have some special events like regarding this one, Velocity versus ISRL. So I hope that our drivers were preparing themselves for the special event. But right now, Velocity Esports Racing, we have around 70 drivers, and we have 2 tiers, 2 championships, which of course on a Monday night and also sometimes on a Thursday, they compete against each other. Of course, we see a lot of clean racing and also a lot of professional drivers. Noah, are you ready for tonight? And what's going to happen tonight exactly?
It's going to be an extremely exciting event for sure. We do have 2 different races for us that we're going to be competing in today, and we're going to be racing around Austria and Japan. It's definitely going to be an exciting race. We have a lot of different drivers. We have a lot of very fast drivers here from ISRL, and I'm sure we have a lot from Velocity. It's going to be a very tight knit race that's going to create a lot of overtaking opportunities and also a lot of challenge. Of course, Austria, a very nice, exciting track, very easy to drive. But Japan, of course, as well. The only figure of 8 circuit on the Formula One calendar is definitely going to bring a lot of challenge to the drivers. Throttle control, brake control, all of those things are needed if you want to complete a lap around Japan, and not only that, complete it quickly. So there's definitely going to be a lot in store for the drivers today. It's going to be a good one for sure.
Of course, Noah. And right now, also, we're going to go and see which are the drivers who are going to compete tonight. In fact, let's go to see our driver lineups for tonight. For the Velocity driver lineups, we have Jaku, we have also Haller, Simi, Daryl, we have also Glanza, Mandukinator, Excel Bre, Wayne Chambry, Kurt Valletta, and Michael Patch. Regarding ISRL, it's all up to you, Noah, to present your drivers.
So here coming in just a few moments, there it is, the lineup for ISRL Esports, Sweet Crown 19, ISRL Knight, the owner of ISRL Esports, Josh 2, URC Rotation, Jerome Vasseur, Sophion, Feral Fury, Mavako, FRL Chappelle, and ISRL VR46 Yarno. It's really it's like a ISRL all-team great, it feels like, in this lineup. So I'm very excited for the drivers we have in store for the event today.
I'm sure you picked up your best drivers for tonight. Of course, you want to win this event. Our drivers, they want to win this event. But of course, we encourage all the drivers to drive as clean as possible and also to be competitive as much as possible as well. But if we go and see your drivers right now, which are the ones to watch?
Well, in my opinion, of course, Suikar 19, 3-time ISRL Esports Tier 1 champion. He is the GOAT, to say the least, in terms of drivers that we have at our stores. You can see right there in the stats, 41 race starts, 23 wins, 32 podiums, and 19 pole positions. 3-time champion in Tier 1. So Suikar 19 absolutely dominating the field since he came into ISRL. Also to watch out for FRL Chappelle, extremely quick around Austria. He has one of the top 10 times in time trial here at Austria. He is an extremely quick driver, not just in ISRL, but in many other leagues as well he competes in. So definitely a few drivers to watch.
So basically, as he was saying, this is a head-to-head event. As you were saying, the Sweet Crowns Kuzani 19. These are the stats of what's happening so far after 3 seasons. Noah, you're back, yes?
Yes, I am back. Sorry, right
You
there.
can continue, yes, of course.
Yes. So, Suicar 19, as I was talking about, 41 race starts, 23 wins, 32 podiums, and pole positions at 19. He really is the Michael Schumacher or Lewis Hamilton of ISRL Esports. 3 championships in a row, the only 3 seasons we've had. It's definitely going to be one to watch out for. Also, FRL Chappelle, one of the top 10 times in time trial here at Austria. So he's definitely a driver to watch out for as well. Mivako as well, the tier 3 champion this season in season 3. So also somebody to really watch out for. So it's a very exciting lineup. I'm very confident coming into Austria that we can take the win today. But I'm sure you have some very fast drivers. Talk us through some of your drivers that you have to offer here from Velocity.
Of course. So right now we have also the team captain that we are looking at also his stats. 14 race starts for Jake Samut, which is known as Yaku 53. He had 1 win in Monaco. It was a spectacular win. He was trying to win this race for a long time, but after also 2 seasons, obviously this is the 6th race of the second season, he had the win, and it was a dominated race by him. He had 9 podiums in his career so far in the esports. He's been also driving only for 1 year. So basically, when you started driving only for 1 year, it's still a huge success for this driver. 1 pole position so far also in his championship, but also he's leading the constructors championship with Haas team together with his teammate Mr. Glanza. So we have also some other drivers which we are looking very forward to see what they're going to offer today. Basically, we have Axel Bre, who was one of the fastest in Austria, and also we have Haller, which is one of the drivers that is with main contender for the championship. In fact, he's in the first place right now in the current championship. So it's better if we go to see and look out for where we're gonna race actually in Austria, but let's see the track. It's up to Mario for
7
giving
rights
you,
and
yes,
just
thank
3
you to
lefts,
Mario
making up the
for,
10 corners of this
directing us,
high-speed
with all these
circuit.
graphics and
Turn
everything.
2 is barely a corner at all.
Brilliant
They'll be
job
flat
right there.
out through there. A
Take us
left-hand
through this track, Mr. Noah.
So this is the Austrian, the Red Bull Ring at Spielberg. Of course, 10 turns. There are 3 DRS detection zones here. The start-finish line, the one after turn 2, and then after turn 3. Very quick track. You're going to be looking at the low 1 minutes in here, 2.3 miles this circuit. So, of course, always an exciting one in the real world of Formula 1. And, in fact, hosted the first round in the championship for ISRL Esports. And it is always an exciting race for sure. And we're definitely going to be having it in our next season. But you can expect some awesome overtaking opportunities here. Of course, very long straights, not a lot of twisting turns. It's very nice, wide, long turns, a lot of overtaking opportunities. Expect a little bit of a DRS train, but definitely expect some very daring dive bombs for sure. And again, we're expecting lap times, at least from FRL Chappelle, I'm expecting somewhere around a 103.2. That is his best time on here. So we're definitely expecting some very quick times from the drivers here as we get set for the 50% race around Austria.
Of course, and then we're going to talk also about the other race that we have, which is Japan. Yes, Japan, we have 25%. It's another different strategy, but we have also 18 turns in this track. We have 5.807 kilometers. It's a very nice track. I think it's one of the basically favorite tracks from different drivers all over esports. Even sometimes in the esports series, they mentioned that it's their favorite track. We have 3 DRS zones, which also we have 3 different sectors. I think this is going to be a very nice lap, and also we're going to see a lot of racing, which there's a lot of overtake opportunities also in this track. Yes.
Absolutely, for sure. Japan, one of the favorites for drivers, of course. This is the only figure of eight track on the Formula One calendar. And Japan, of course, deciding 16 different champions in the real world of Formula One here. So, a historic track. I can remember so many different memories I've seen, not just from ones I've watched from replays from the past, but also watching Formula One myself for the longest that I have. So definitely a very exciting track, a very challenging track. It really tests all of your different types of driving abilities. How can you control the throttle? How can you control your braking? Back on the power. There's just so many different things that are used in this track from your driver repertoire that are you going to have to use to its most effective in order to get the best lap around here. So I'm very excited for both of these tracks. One of them very action packed, the other a very technical track. It's going to be a good balance for both, and we're really going to see all of the talents from all of our drivers come out the best from these two.
Is it the first time that ISRL Esports is doing something like this regarding league versus league?
We did actually have a league versus league event versus CRL, which was a couple of weeks ago. But this is certainly one of the bigger events we've had, and it's so exciting to be a part of it. And with all the graphics and everything, Mario doing a fantastic job with all the presentation from Velocity, and we thank them so much for hosting the event and bringing it up onto our YouTube channel as well. So it's a really exciting event that really there's nothing I can compare it to that we participated in. It's truly going to be a monumental occasion to behold for sure.
In fact, we like it to be more professional as it is. Noah, in fact, this is the first time for our drivers competing against other international drivers. In fact, you were mentioning before when we were talking between us that you have 6 different countries that these gamers are coming from, yes?
Yep, 6 different countries. So we have people from the Netherlands, we have Germany, we have Sweden, we have Italy, we have Belgium. It's I've named 5 there. I have to forgetting the sixth thing. I have to bring it up back the lineup there. But of course, as you said there, we have a very diverse lineup of different drivers. We have drivers from the United States. We have drivers from Asian countries, and just talking about the league in general. I mean, really a very international league, which I'm so happy we have so many different diverse different groups in our league. So for sure, you definitely have a lot of different drivers also in Canada. So Knight's gonna bash
That's
me
good.
over in the DMs later on afterwards, thinking that I forgot the home country of the league. So I'll definitely hear about that later. But of course, yes, we have a lot of different nationalities in ISRL. So I'm very happy to have such a diverse group of drivers. Of course, Velocity, you have mostly, or in fact, you only have Maltese drivers. It's a
Yes.
very interesting the decision there. Talk us through Velocity and how everything got started there.
Of course. So we are just started this year, actually, in March when there was the coronavirus pandemic going on. A lot of people were not going out. We started also playing this game. From few people playing this game, we started Velocity with a little bit more of a profession, let's say, view. And also, we managed to get some drivers. We started our first season, which we were not even 20 in the first season. But so far, yes, we are doing a very good job. Also, special events. Another event is coming up next week, which is a charity event, which also you can follow, but you can't race in it because it's restricted to Maltese drivers. But of course, Velocity, it's a young community which is growing in Malta, and also esports in Malta in general is growing as well. We are waiting for the last driver to join in the lobby. For now, we're going to leave you with some music before we head up to the first qualifying session, which is an 18 minutes qualifying session, the Austria track.
and get themselves onto pole position. And then after that, we will have a 50% race around Austria. So 50% of the normal regulation amount of laps we have here at the Austrian Grand Prix in the real life of F1 as drivers are coming out now. I don't know if everybody, I did see a yellow car there, so I'm not too sure if everybody's gone their correct deliveries for sure, but nonetheless, we will we know who they are. We know what league they're from, so we will. Yep, there is somebody out there with a yellow livery. I'm not too sure who that is at the moment, but nonetheless, and it's Daryl right there.
Yes, it's
in the yellow
our driver.
livery.
Of course, it's our driver. I think it was a little bit of a mistake.
It's okay. We already won. So we already won in the livery game. So I'm pretty happy about that one. So we've already had the first W of the stream. But of course, nonetheless, we're getting right now with short qualifying action, which is about to begin in just a few moments' time. The first lap actually looks like it's Haller who's going to be coming across the line to start the first lap. And Ephraim, do you want to take us through with this lap at the moment?
Of course, right now Haller is going for the first straight where we're going to have the first DRS zone as well. This is a very important straight. You need to brake in time, else you will have those tires being a little bit worn. Not supposed to be like that, but it's going to be a very good speed now when we're going to turn 5. Turn 5 is a very tricky turn. You don't need to slow down that much, but it's going to be a nice turn also where we're going to see some nice overtakes. Right now, this is a tricky corner that you need to take a little bit of the curb exactly as you exit. And of course, right now we're going to the last sector of this track. This is a very fast track. Right now, Haller is doing a very, very good lap. Soft tires. This is the very tricky corner that you don't need to exceed the limit. If you exceed the limit in this track, you will ruin your race, your hot lap. In fact, we had a 1 minute, 3 seconds, 0.2 for Haller. It's the fastest lap time as well for the Velocity Esports Racing team.
So those are the first few times coming on there. We have, it looks to be a 107 from Josh 2 as well. They're sitting in third position as we have another time about to come and start his lap. And that was Jakku, who is now coming through to start his lap, and Sweetcrown 19 slowing up a little bit. Oh no, Sweetcrown, I believe Sweetcrown is I don't remember having the black halo right there, so I believe that's not. Yeah, that's well. So it's an attempt, Sweetcrown. It's an attempt at the livery scheme that I came up with, but nonetheless, it looks like we have a new fastest lap time right there as well.
So basically, you're telling me that we are still drawing the livery game, yes?
Okay, no, I think, well, no, because we have our livery is the most in color scheme. Yours is like yellow and black. Like that's not even Velocity colors. I think that Sweetcrown got the message. It didn't come completely in translation. But nonetheless, Sweetcrown 19 is now starting his lap as he's coming in the turn one again, using as much curb as possible before coming in the turn one to get the maximum amount of pace. Now onto that DRS straight, cutting in closer to that little kink right there, now coming up to the next kink, and not using too much of the curb coming up into this turn, a little bit to slow the car down before coming up into the uphill, getting back on the power early, making sure not to spin the tires too much, and now coming down the next DRS straight before coming in towards this downhill section. Very easy to go a little bit too wide as he has two cars ahead of him, and that looks to be some of the velocity drivers as they get out of the way promptly. But nonetheless, Sweetcrown 19 coming into sector 3 just about now, and Ephraim Chappelle has set the fastest lap time of the session. And Ephraim, what time was that?
102.862. So this is a very good lap. In fact, it's a 1/10 more than Michael Patch.
And Sweetcrown 19 just coming around the final turn now here at Austria. So we're going to see what kind of time he can put on the board. And it's going to be best for P2. So a 1-2 right now for the ISRL men. And that's a 102.9, it looks like, from Sweetcrown 19.
Sweetcrown, exactly. It's 1 minute. It's 1 minute 2 seconds. 0.881. So there's a point of 0.20 between them. It's very. I think it's a very few margin between these drivers. So if we go to see this driver Glanza right now, he's doing the fastest step, but he's doing it on the medium this time. I think they are using a little bit of different strategy than other drivers. I know that the drivers were practicing together for a lot of time. As he comes in the last two corners, which are the most tricky corners, we're seeing here that Glanza is turning out there, maybe exceeded a bit the limit, exactly as in fact he exceeded the limit. As you see, the track map goes red, and he's gonna do another lap now for the second time. Maybe we can go see another driver from your end.
Let's see what I think VR46 Yarno's on a lap right now, on a hot lap. He's one of the only drivers without a time. As you can see right there, he's coming actually into that downhill section. In my opinion, the more tricky corner of the track, because you actually have to be a little bit more gentle on the throttle in that particular portion of the track, as using too much throttle actually does in fact slow you down. You get a little bit too much wheel spin, you don't get the car going. As you can see right there, now he just gone purple in the second sector. So VR46 Yarno looking very good, just using the maximum of the track limits. He does have a driver ahead of him, and that looks, this is going to be a little tricky, and that in fact is going to be an invalidation, and I think that might have been ISRL Knight.
Yes.
It looked like ISRL Knight, yep, so a little bit of an impeding from the ISRL drivers. Come on, lads, you don't want to be messing up each other, but ISRL Knight, he's a little bit too known for having some track some track times impeded on him from his teammate in Season 3. They weren't the best of friends there at the Red Bull squad in Season 3, his teammate Gurman, and he is all too well known from having some of his lap times ruined and not being able to get back out for another one from his teammates. So, but nonetheless, we're riding on board, it looks like, with Daryl Potch in the Velocity car. He's now coming through the third sector, and we're going to see what kind of time he can put on. Currently sitting 12th at the moment, and it looks to be a little bit of a better time. He goes very, almost a little bit too wide, and now the final turn, and he thankfully keeps it valid, and he's going to come across the line, and he's going to go to P number 10, and it looks like we just had a new time from URC rotation. He splits up Chappelle and Sweetcrown 19.
Yes, of course. In fact, it's the same exactly lap time that Sweetcorn had. So
Wow.
Sweetcrown had 102.881. URC rotation. This is the first time I'm seeing this when we are commenting about it. It's the same exactly lap time as the third driver. So I don't know what describes them second or third. I think they are both second. Yes, for me.
Yep, so yeah, I believe VRC rotation is going to get the lap in second position due to the fact that he set it the latest time. So that is usually how the times work. If you get the latest time, that's going to be, you're going to get a position up on the other driver, even if the times are the same. As you just saw there, it looks like Simi, who was going on for a lap there at the moment.
Yes.
We do have a new fastest lap, and this time it is Josh 2, another ISRL man. Come on, lads, there you go. Another fastest lap time from ISRL, and this time it's from Josh 2, the Ferrari driver from Tier 1.
Right now, we're seeing that the top 4 drivers are from all ISRL. They are very, very close to each other. If we see from first place, Josh 2, he had a 1 minute 2 second 0.770, and the driver who is just less than a second is Wayne Cambry, which is V Wayne, which is 15th place. So basically, from 15th to first place, there's only 1 second between them.
What it's absolutely amazing sometimes just watching some of these drivers so quick and so close to each other in pace, and you just see the gaps of performance between them in rotation and sweep around the exact same lap time. Chappelle and Josh 2 not too far apart, only hundredths of a seconds from each other, in fact. So really just really exciting times right there, as it looks like Michael Potch is on for another lap. It looks like in the velocity car, so we'll see how he can get along. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and I'm not too sure what that's for. Might just be some drivers getting out of the way.
Yes, of course. That's because the drivers are slowing down, so one another, they can help each other, of course.
It looks like Jakku's on a lap as well. He just went a little bit faster in the first sector, but not by much, only a couple hundredths of a second quicker. So he's definitely going to want to get on the pace a little bit more if he wants to get a little bit closer up to the top. Currently sitting 8th position at the moment for velocity. And he definitely would like to get a little bit higher than that for sure. Michael Potch, of course, he is the highest of the velocity drivers, but they just got split up a little bit more. Jerome Vasseur just went to 6th on the grid right there. Another FRL driver with Chappelle, and he just went to 6th and splits up Holler and Michael Potch.
In fact, less than 8 minutes remaining. It's around 7 minutes and a half. We have a lot of the drivers who went already to make 1 lap. And we have also some drivers that made a little bit more than 1 lap. In fact, if Mario can show us also the tires that they're using, this is very important also to see what are we going to see them using in the beginning of the race, because if you qualify with the best time for the top 10 with the soft tire, you need to start with the soft tire. In fact, what you can tell us about how it's gonna work? I know that it's Austria 50%, but then there's a reverse grid. How does it work, that?
So normally, for at least from my experience of the reverse grids, for sure, that usually it's the top 10 that gets the reverse. So if you finish in 10th position, you get reversed back up the first position. So people outside of the top 10 are not going to see that reverse. But if it is going to be a full grid reversal, then somebody like Mavako, for instance, who's currently sitting last on the grid, if he finishes in 20th position, then he would be in first position. So that's normally how the reverse grid goes. If it is just a top 10 reversal, then it is the person who finishes in 10th that will be on first. Drivers outside the top 10 do not get that reversal, so they will start in the same position that they finished at the end there. As we're running on Motorcycle rotation right now, who is on a timed lap. We're going to see what kind of time he can put on just coming into the final turn. They're really nice through that final turn as he comes across the line, and URC rotation with a 102.7, it looked like right there, and he has gone fastest on the track right now. So rotation putting in the horsepower for ISRL Esports, fastest overall from the rest of the grid.
Just to confirm for you, the exact time, it's 1 minute, 2 seconds, 0.723. So that's 0.50 milliseconds more than Josh 2. This is amazing. We're seeing the top 4 drivers are all from ISRL. Come on, Velocity drivers, show us what you got. And I need to see what our Maltese drivers can really do during the esports right now. They are competing against international drivers, to be exact, from 6 different locations. We have Sweden, Belgium, Germany, France, also Canada. We don't need to forget Canada. It's not only Europe.
We do not want to forget Canada. ISRO Knight will not be happy about if we forget Canada.
Of course, I really would like to thank also Knight and Mario for organizing this and also cooperating together to get to host this event. Also, thanks to Noah for joining us in the commentary for hosting this race. It's a pleasure for me, Noah, to be assisting you during this time also.
It is very much my pleasure as well, for sure.
it's a challenge for me because it's the first time also commentating with the English language, because normally we commentate only in the Maltese language, but hope I do a good job as well.
I have to say, if Velocity is going to win anything today, if it's not on track, which let's be honest, it won't be, then you're definitely winning on the commentary side. Definitely doing a very good job on the English side. But I'm very confident in ISRL Esports right now. We're looking pretty good, top 4 right now. Michael Pochdale's looking pretty good right there for you. No, looks like Lanza right there. Just at the end on the penultimate turn, he did have an invalidation, so he's going to have to go again for another lap. Hopefully he has enough ERS stored to possibly go for another one. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But there we are, just a little under 4 minutes left to go in the session. You're watching Velocity versus ISRL Esports live from both Facebook and YouTube, depending on which channel you're on. Thank you, everybody who's joining us live right now. And as we're just getting towards the end of short qualifying, it's rotation. Josh 2, Chappelle, and Sweetcron 19 who are leading up the ISRL Esports drivers up there at the top. Michael Poch and P5 rounding off the top 5 for the Velocity boys. So Velocity not looking too hot right now. Definitely want to get a little bit further up the grid to make a little bit more of a challenge. Riding on board of Mandukinator at the moment, who sits P7. He is on a 103 point flat at the moment. And he definitely wants to get a little further up. All the drivers, as we were mentioning earlier, are on the soft compound tire, as pretty much expected for everybody. That was a little close of Mandukinator as he almost hit Knight there on who was on a in-lap. As we're just getting towards the end of the session. We're riding on board right there. You can see, let's see what he can do if he's going to be able to get a little further up the grid, as you said. Sitting in P7 at the moment behind Jerome Fisser. Almost invalidated that lap as well. And right there, an invalidation.
Yes.
He just cut the corner right there. And that's going to be another invalidation right there for Mandukinator. And he's going to have to go around one more time at some point to get a lap in.
I think our drivers are feeling more pressure than usual because they are competing against international drivers for the first time. I know that these drivers normally during the championship they perform very well, so I encourage these drivers so they can relax a little bit more and also give us what they can. They know the best. They have the best. They are the best drivers. That's where they picked for this event. But I'm really sure that Michael Poch, there's Mandukinator, there's also Yaku. They can perform very well. But also we don't need to forget that there's the race, which the best strategy wins normally, and also the best race pace. It doesn't mean that you have the best lap time. It means that you're gonna win the race. If you have the best lap time, you're gonna just start in the first place and the front row. But also, we don't need to forget, Noah, that this track, it's one of the few tracks that track position doesn't matter at all because there's a lot of overtaking opportunities, yeah?
Absolutely, for sure. So many straights, so many DRS zones, so many different turns where you can make overtakes as well. As we've seen before in many Austrian Grand Prix before, overtaking is a very hot commodity here in the races, so I don't expect qualifying to be too much of a concern. But Sophion right now just went purple in the second sector, so he's not looking too bad. There's just a minute 15 left to go in qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, so the times are really going to start to fly here as Sophion comes around the final turn. And an invalidation there. He ran too wide out of the exit. It was going to be a 103.4, and that surely would have brought him up a few positions here in qualifying. But all the drivers you can see right there are starting to line up. Sweet Crown 19 on a lap for one more lap with 50 seconds left to go in the session. There's a lot of drivers ahead.
A lot of traffic ahead.
A lot of traffic. And it's starting to look like a session of Formula 3 with the amount of traffic, as you can see there. But Sweet Crown 19, nonetheless, coming down. He's getting towards Simi right there. Simi looks to be on a lap as well. A little bit of a lockup from both of them, in fact, as it's very difficult to get the car stopped. And this is going to be trouble maybe for Sweet Crown 19. He's getting close to Simi. He might have to slow up a little bit not to hit him on this lap. Of course, he is going to get a little bit of slipstream, but he's also going to get some dirty air. And Simi's just going to he looks like he's going to abort the lap. He may have noticed maybe that he was getting a little slow. And ISRL Knight has retired from the session, and it looks like he retired in the pit lane. But a final time right there, and an invalidation from Sweet Crown 19. And that would have been a very fast lap and might get him up towards pole position, in fact. But Sweet Crown 19, he has one more opportunity, but he is just going to stop right there. And Josh 2 with pole position.
Wow, what a lap by Michael Patch also, that finishing third in the session, currently third actually, because there are some drivers that still need to continue this lap and also to also finish the session. But Josh too, yes, 1 minute 2 seconds 0.639, so he got the fastest lap and also on the sixes that we didn't see before. And URC rotation now, it's a little bit of a 0.1 of a second after Josh 2. Josh 2, I don't see that coming from him. Is he a surprise?
You know, Josh too. Actually, you know, he is definitely a very strong driver. He was really bringing the challenge to Williams this season in season 3 against with his Ferrari teammate Sophion. But Josh too, yeah, that's definitely a very impressive lap time from him. Josh, he has had a reversal of fortunes in qualifying as of late. He has gone a little further up the grid than we've expected the past couple of rounds towards the end of the season. So Josh too has really started to put in some really tough pace, and it's been very difficult for some of our competitors. But Josh too with a wicked time right there. Definitely not the man I expected to be on pole position, but I cannot complain nonetheless. URC rotation and second position, a 1-2 for ISRL Esports. Unless anybody has anything to say about it, and we're seeing some,
I don't think so.
some
Yes.
AI controlled contact on.
Of course. That was the qualifying session in the Spielberg Grand Prix. This is a 50% race. We're gonna have around, I think, 40 laps. If you can confirm for me.
I believe it is about 29 or 30 laps. I'm not too particularly sure. We'll see in a second.
We'll see in a second, of course. We'll see in a second, of course.
I never quite remember the 50% tallies. I should. And look at this. And somebody's out of it.
That's just the AI. Of course, that's just the AI controlling right now. In fact, these are our top drivers. Our top drivers are from Germany at this time, Josh 2. We have Swedish driver, URC rotation in the second place. Third place, we have the Maltese driver from the Velocity Esports Racing, Michael Patch. Fourth place, we have FRL Chapelle, yes, of course. And also in the fifth place, we have another Maltese driver. Sixth place, we have the German driver, Sweet Crown 19. Seventh place, we have Jerome Visser from the Netherlands. Eighth place, we have the local driver, Haller from Malta. Ninth place, we have Simi, as also he finishes in top 10. And also another driver who completes the top 10, which is not a surprise at all because he's a very good driver, Mandukinator, which is number 10. I believe we have a penalty right now, Noah, as you can see.
I don't see I do see a penalty. It's VR46 Yarno. Oh man, he has a 5-place grid penalty, so he must have made contact with somebody at some point in the qualifying session. No contact of all can be tolerated in these qualifying sessions. So we are just getting set for the race to start. But as you said right there, there is a 5-place grid penalty to be applied for VR46 Yarno, and that will definitely hinder our ISRL Esports efforts. But nonetheless, I'm still very confident in all of our drivers, and I'm very confident it's going to be a good race. 28 seconds until the session start time, and just before the formation lap, any thoughts, Ephraim, before I go over the grid order one more time?
Let's hope to see an amazing first lap, because the first lap is very important to all drivers. But of course, let's see some clean racing, some competitive driving. But above all, we want to see the perfect professional racing from all these esports drivers.
And there it is. 5 seconds until the session start. It's Velocity versus ISRL here today in the race. And there's that single red light that comes on to begin the formation lap. And the drivers are getting underway. And let's get set for racing here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Josh 2 from ISRL Esports on pole position here today with URC rotation behind him. Michael Patch in third position with FRL Chapelle in the second row of the grid. On the third row of the grid, Jakku and Sweet Crown 19 are going to occupy those spaces, with the fourth row of the grid for Jerome Visser and Haller. In the fifth row of the grid for 10th and 11th, it's Mandukinator and Excel Bray. And the rest of the grid order, Feral Fury in 12th position, Kurt Valletta in 13th, Daryl Potch in 14th position, with Wayne in 15th position. VR46 Yarno, he has a 5-place grid penalty. He starts in 16th position. Sophion in 17th position. ISRL Knight in 18th position. He's usually not the best in qualifying, but he can put in some really good race performances, so I expect nonetheless from him. Glanza will start in 19th, and Mivako is going to be starting all the way in P20. So Mivako did not have the qualifying session he would have liked to have had. He is going to start near the back of the grid order. It's going to be 36 laps around here at the Red Bull Ring, home, of course, of Red Bull for the Red Bull team, and of course also the headquarters for Red Bull Global, owned by Dietrich Mateschitz. As we get ready for this race, I'm so very excited, ladies and gentlemen. We're live from Facebook from Velocity Esports. We're live from YouTube from ISRL Esports. And this is going to be a heck of a race for you, ladies and gentlemen. Josh 2 about to line up on his pole position slot. URC rotation in second position with Michael Pache, the highest of the grid for the Velocity drivers. There is your predicted pit stop strategy: soft, hard for a one-stop, or soft, medium for a two-stop. Again, that's F1 Insights presented by Amazon Web Services. As just the drivers getting ready to get onto their slot, we'll have the 5 red lights that'll come on and then they'll come off. And we will get ready for the start of the Austrian Grand Prix. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting for those 5 red lights. It's 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's Velocity versus ISRL, and the lights are out, and away we go. And it's been a good start from Josh 2. URC rotation getting a little bogged down, and looks to be FRO Chappelle going to try to challenge on the inside. Rotation now under pressure from Michael Pache, who's side by side, and Pache takes second position in this race, but Josh 2 got away very cleanly, and already he leads by about 0.6 of a second. Rotation is going to try to challenge on the inside. A nice dive bomb move right there, and looks to be FRO Chappelle going side by side out there with Jakku, or that might be Sweet Car 19. Actually, no, Sweet Car 19 a little bit behind. It is FRO Chappelle who's just ahead of Jakku, and he's going to try to make a move on the inside right there. And oh, Chappelle with a spin, and Sweet Crown 19 hits him, and there's going to be front wing damage for somebody, and there's now a penalty of 5 seconds being applied to a few drivers. And there is a safety car deployed on lap number 1, and that is a bunch of carnage. FRO Chappelle round. He has a spin, as that is not the start he would have liked to have had, but Josh 2 in rotation, first and second. Michael Pache and Jakku third and fourth. Sweet Crown 19, I don't know if he has damage, but he might have to make a pit stop on this safety car, because he did hit the side of FRO Chappelle, and there into the pits is Sweet Car 19, so he did in fact have some wing damage, and we may see him go onto the hard compound tire and make this probably gonna have to be a 2-stop now. Even still, those hard tires are not gonna make it till the end. But Ephraim, what a start to the race. Some drama already, some contact between Velocity and ISRL Esports.
Of course, right now I'm like speechless. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but the top 3, they didn't change. They had a perfect start. I saw that Michael Patch was pushing a lot on the URC rotation, but he didn't manage to overtake him. But it was a clean also start. I saw that this turn is gonna be a little bit of a threat to our drivers. It seems that they're losing a little bit of grip of the tires, but maybe exactly as Mario did right now, he gave us a view of what tires the drivers are using. This is something that we're gonna see the best strategy wins, maybe, Noah?
It looks like, yeah, it looks like. So Sucre 19, one of the drivers caught up in that instant. He decides to go into the medium compound tire. So still probably, of course, definitely going to be a 2-stop at that point. But definitely, I'm thinking looking to go from medium to softs again on this race. Of course, he's going to have to stop a little earlier than some of the other drivers, but he is going to be very, very quick near the end of the race. He may even decide to go into the hards, though. I doubt it. He's probably going to try to do a medium to soft strategy. Of course, those mediums are going to have to be run out pretty long in this race, but you can see right there, a majority of the grid has already decided to make their pit stops regardless anyway, and they're going to start on the medium compound tire, and not a lot of drivers actually on the soft tires. In fact, only the top 6 and 9th and 10th position are on the softs. The rest are starting on the medium tire, or going to complete the race essentially on the medium tires until their next pit stop. So we are under safety car conditions here, ladies and gentlemen, though. Lap number 3 of 36. And again, Josh 2 leading this Austrian Grand Prix. URC rotation behind him with Michael Pache and Jakku in 3rd and 4th position. Feral Fury currently rounding off the top 5 for ISRL Esports. So there's 3 drivers in the top 5 in ISRL Esports. 2 drivers, though, 3rd and 4th higher up in the top 5 as well for Velocity. but there is a whole bunch of drivers mixed up the rest of the grid. But it's looking good overall still for ISRL Esports. A little bit unfortunate for Chappelle with that spin. It looked like he was trying to go on the inside of Jakku, and it didn't quite work out for him. It is always going to be tough on lap number one. You can't fault too many of the drivers for lap one contact. It's always going to happen. But nonetheless, we are currently under safety car conditions and no sign of that safety car coming in just yet.
Exactly. In fact, there's 8 drivers who already.
Well, no, there we go. Safety car in this lap.
Exactly, as you said, Noah, there's already 8 drivers that affected a pit stop, which changed their tires and also some wings. We see that 4 drivers from Velocity and 4 drivers from ISRL. So this is going to be a tough challenge for all the drivers. Obviously, if you go for a hard tire, no one went for a hard tire. They went for a medium tire. So I think that they're going to have another pit stop for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking drivers probably we're planning on doing the 2-stop strategy, that 1-stop strategy in the hards. The hards are not a great tire, very hard to get into optimal temperature range, but nonetheless, Josh 2 currently controls the pack, so he decides when he wants to go, and he's coming into that penultimate turn. You can see right there, Josh 2 now getting underway, back up onto racing speed, and coming around that final turn, and here we go, Josh 2 leading away this grid right now, so safety car is done and dusted, and Josh 2 leads this Grand Prix. URC rotation behind him in second position, Michael Pache in third and fourth for Jakku. Feral Fury in fifth position. We're riding on board with Simi right now, riding behind Feral Fury in sixth position. He's in the slipstream right now. He's looking to possibly make an overtake on the inside of Feral Fury. Can he make a move? He might be a little bit too far back at the moment. So right now he'll stay behind the Williams Tier 1 driver of Feral Fury from ISRL Esports, but he's looking pretty close. Actually, Feral Fury not too close up to Jakku, so he might not be able to get the same sort of slipstream. He's going to have to get back under some good braking. But Michael Pache, nonetheless, in third position, looking towards URC rotation. Rotation, of course, he's in second position. He might want to win the race, but he's not going to want to get too close to Josh 2. Does not want to afford to have a contact with his teammate. A little bit more than 2 teammates for all the drivers here today, so they want to stay cordial with each other. That's Sweetcrown 19. He's behind Glanza, looking to possibly make an overtake, and he's getting very, very close. He might even make to look it on the inside of the penultimate turn, but Sweetcrown 19, a very methodical driver. He's not going to want to make that move just yet. And it looks to be Jakku. Ooh, Sweetcrown 19. He's had some problems from the rear, and now with contact with, it might have been contact or own Fissura. Now he's getting passed by 2 drivers, and he's down to 14th position. Not the start Sweetcrown 19 would have liked to have had. He's now lost 2 positions in 1 turn.
In fact, the fastest lap right now, it's being occupied by Jakku. I told you that this driver is phenomenal. He started in the 5th position. He's already in the 4th position. Michael Patch he's leading also the Velocity team racing group, which is in the 3rd place currently. Also doing very well in the championship. Also, he won a race in our championship of the Velocity Esports Racing V1 Malta series. Also, we can mention that the biggest gainer out of all the drivers was Sofian. He gained already 9 positions from this track from the 1st lap until the 5th lap.
Yeah, Sofian, he's usually, again, not one of those drivers too good at qualifying, but Sofian always putting in a really good amount of pace. And he's currently behind XL Bray, who we were just on board of there. We're looking on board of Holler right now, who is chasing down Verone Fissure by about 0.5 of a second separating them. All the drivers very close, of course, under the safety car restart. A little bit of a DRS train about to begin once we complete another 3 laps. And as you can see right there, they're all very close. And now, again, we actually have completed those 3 laps. So we are now under DRS zone. And look at that. There's a pass right there from Dukinator. He has passed Mivako, and now Chappelle has made the pass on Mivako. And now he is going to get on to try to pressurize Dukinator. And now look at that Chappelle. He might have made a look on the inside right there. He's in the slipstream of Dukinator, and he might make a pass soon. And there's some lockups right there. And look at that, Chappelle. In fact, yes, he has made the move on Dukinator, and he's up into 15th position. There's another pass. It looks to be Sweetcrown 19 who's made a pass on Holler, and he moves up into 13th position. They're still side by side, and look at this. Some great racing right there. Sweetcrown 19 still in 3rd. Holler back up in the 14th, still side by side. Really great racing between these two. Sweetcrown 19 still on the inside of, it's going to get very, very close on the penultimate turn. Some contact between the drivers into that final turn. Sweetcrown 19's had another issue, and he's been spun around from the contact between him and Holler. And it was a very, very a very ballsy move, as you could say, to try to make a move on the inside of Holler into the final turn. Maybe not the wisest of decisions right there, but Sweet Crown 19 has more problems. He's now behind ISRL Knight all the way down in 19th position.
He risked it a lot. He risked there. We know that the last corner, you need to give a little bit of more space than that, else you will end up turning. The traction is very important also to not lose balance. In fact, when you were also commenting about that action, we had another action being true from Wayneska, which is on the last place right now, who also suffered from an accident in the first turn, which he lost his balance, he lost his traction, and he overturned also because he spinned around, and he is in the last place right now. And also another penalty, this time for ISRL Knight, from the ISRL team, of course. He's the leading member of the ISRL who got a 3-second penalty.
That is the first of the penalties, and it may be a few more to go. Turn 1 and the exit of the final turn, very easy to invalidate time and to get some penalties, in this case in the race. Of course, turn 1, you can't cut a little bit too much. You can also go too wide out of the exit of turn 1. And of course, that final turn, if you go a little bit too wide, or if you cut the corner, you could be looking at some penalties. But the rest of the locations, really not too much to worry about for the drivers to get penalties. It's really the first turn, the exit of turn 1, the last turn, and the exit of the last turn. So those are really the locations drivers are going to want to look to keep within track limits. Anywhere else, you just might be driving a little bit too silly, and you're going to want to calm it down a little bit. But we're riding a board right there with Jakku, and he sits in...
Noah, there's a very good challenge right now going through 16 and 15. They are very close, and also there's number 17 who was very, very close. In fact, there's another driver, VR46 Yarno. He got a 3-second penalty, but this is a very, very good challenge between these drivers. We know that Kurt Valletta, he can do very well during the race pace, but maybe he suffered a little bit also during the qualifying. But all these drivers are doing very well on the track. We are not seeing a lot of penalties going through. We saw a little bit of traction, of course, there.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of problem for Jerome Vasuri. Had a little bit of problem getting back on the power out of turn 1. That is a bit of a tricky turn to get your power back on if you're not too careful. If you mash the throttle there, you can really have some problems. Back to you, Ephraim.
As you can see, the green cars are representing the Velocity Esports team, while the other white cars, and also there's a white and black car, which is representing the ISRL team. In the defense against ISRL, we have also a one car which didn't follow the rules and is driving with a black livery. But
yeah, it was our first win of the session.
We are still draw. We are still draw because you have.
No,
so one of your drivers didn't follow.
We start cars in color scheme, yellow and black. I have not seen any color scheme from Velocity of yellow and black. So I yield that we have won. I do not think as a draw in that scenario. But nonetheless, we're still racing. Daryl has a little bit of problem himself behind Yarno. As you can see there, he had a bit of a wobble out of the rear end right there. So maybe a little unbalanced at the back. And he's having some problems. Nonetheless, we're running board of XL Bray right there. XL, a pretty good team. Bray, I'm sure, will be very happy to be on that team. And right now, he is behind Feral Fury, trying to get past him. Feral Fury still rounding off that top 5. So a very solid drive so far from him, sitting in 5th position. Hopefully, I'm not giving any commentators curse to Feral Fury. He can continue to stay well in 5th position. But we're on lap number 10 right now, and Josh 2 still leads this Austrian Grand Prix.
This is a very good result right now. We have the top 6 drivers, 3 drivers from Velocity, and also another 3 drivers from ISRL. So right now we're pretty balanced. Of course, the winner takes it all, which is Josh 2, and second place is URC Rotation. But remember, we have a reverse grid, so the top 10 will be reversing the grid, and the number 10 will start in the first place. Maybe it's 8, maybe it's 10. I don't know how it works exactly. If it's like Formula 2, it will be number 8.
We'll have to wait and see, but look at this, a pass on the inside. Looks like more so the outside, actually. It's Haller on VR46 Yarno, and he has made the pass right there. We have a little bit of pass down the grid as well. Looks to be Glanza and Chappelle, who are going side by side right there. Chappelle is going to have the inside line. No, he's actually going to back up a little bit. And it has been some contact between many of the drivers so far on the inside. So maybe trying to be a little bit more patient and wait for the opportune time to make an overtake. You don't want to be having too many mistakes because it could cost you. And Feral Fury has dropped all the way down to 7th position. So he's had some problems in the last couple of corners. And right now, Velocity really gearing up right now to make an attack on the ISRL Esports boys. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Those are all Velocity drivers. Michael Pache, Jakku, XL Bray, and Simi. And look at this. It looks to be a pit stop from Chappelle on lap number 12. Did he have damage on the car? I'm not too sure.
No,
Wayne's retired in the virtual safety car.
Wayne exactly retired, and during this lap, he also lost control and he retired from this track. Unfortunately, Wayne is one of the weakest link from the Velocity Esports team right now, but I'm really sure that he will do well in the Japan racetrack because he likes that very much. We also seen another overtake, which was very nice by 2 drivers of Velocity. In fact, we saw Farrell.
Look at this rotation, actually. He's making a challenge on the inside again. A Pache and contact.
I think
Michael Pache hit the backer rotation.
Yes, in fact, as I was saying, Ferry, he lost 2 places to XL Bray and Simi. XL Bray is becoming so strong in this race, and we believed in him from the beginning, as he was one of the favorites to also gain the best positions for the Velocity team. In fact, there's a lot of different penalties going on. I know that ISRL Knight just got a drive-through penalty because he's overspeeded during the VSC. Also, XL Bray got a 3-second time penalty, which is not helping him for sure in this classification right now, which is number 5. And there's also Michael Patch, which he's risking a lot because he have the 2nd warning. But there's another driver, Mivako, who got a 3-second time penalty, and Sweet Crown, he gets also a 3-second time penalty.
So a few penalties right there. Riding on board of Daryl Ponch. He's getting very, very close to Feral Fury. He might make a move on the inside. He's going to challenge on the inside, and a very daring move from the Velocity driver. He just about has the move done. Feral Fury's going to keep it, though, on the inside. He might make a move back on the inside. There he goes, Feral Fury. Is he going to try to push maybe the Velocity driver a little wide right there? He's still on the inside. He gets a little bit of grass right there, though, and that might solidify the move right there. And now Feral Fury's going to lose even more positions now, so Sophion has made a move on him, and now Sophion up in 8th position, and it might be time for Sophion to now make the challenge. Feral Fury having trouble on that. Looks to be another pit. Now we're getting some pit stops there from the soft tire runners. They did not make their pit stops under safety car, so now
we have an accident. We have an accident of Jake Yaku, which was in the 3rd place. In fact, he ended up overspinning in the 1st corner when he tried to overtake URC rotation. In fact, now 1st, 2nd, and 3rd places are all drivers from the ISRL team, but we have Daryl Patch, which is in number 4, and in fact, we have another call stop for another 2 drivers, which is Haller, and also the driver which took another stop was the V Mandukinator.
Some really exciting stuff right there for sure. So the top 3 are Josh 2, Rotation, and Sophion. As you said, ISRL Esports doing very good. There's a little bit of a split up, though, for the Velocity boys. They're all over the place right now. 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, though, is the biggest group of them. But running on board of Yarno right now, trying to possibly make a pass on Yaku, and Yaku actually is going to go into the pit lane. So after that spin, he is going to go into the pits and make his first pit stop of the day. And there goes the pit stop for some of the ISRL drivers right there. Josh 2 and Rotation have made their pit stops. So have some of the other Velocity drivers. So Sophion, of course, stays out, and now a pass looks to be on the inside of Haller, and Haller very easily makes that pass on Feral Fury up into 2nd position. Of course, though, Haller has not yet made a pit stop on that soft tire, so he is going to have to do so soon because that soft tire is definitely going to start to see.
We have an accident. We have
Chappelle
another accident.
is
Yes.
out of the Austrian Grand Prix, and that is a massive accident right there. Chappelle is out of it, and that's a full safety car now deployed. Chappelle has had a problem, and that's a tire off of the car, and I'm not too sure what happened right there, what caused that accident, but nonetheless, we have another safety car on lap number 15.
In fact, we had an accident in the turn one exactly again. This is the third time we're having accidents in this corner. This is, I think, they're trying too much to overtake each other, and they're making that type of late braking, and also they're losing the balance of the car. It's very, very tricky when you are not using much assist, because, of course, as you know, when traction is off, it's very easy to lose the car over there.
So Fion makes his pit stop. He was the leader of the race. The leader now goes to Glanza. Glanza is on 15 lap old medium, so he does not have to make a pit stop for a little bit more, though he surely will do it soon. We are under lap number 16 of 36, though, right now. Josh, too, he's on very new medium tires behind Glanza, so he's going to have a heavy grip advantage for sure over the velocity driver right there, so he is going to have some work cut out for him. Michael Pache sits in third position. Rotation sits in fourth. Now, it might have looked actually a little worse for the ISRL Esports boys before that safety car, as the velocity guys really getting a little bit of a better tire strategy. But this safety car has come out. The grip is going to be a little bit more equal for the drivers down the field. We have a few drivers who've elected to go into those hard compound tires. We'll see how it works out for them. But more importantly, this has allowed for the strategies to kind of be thrown out the window. Now it's going to be all-out racing. Now, if your drivers like Sophion, who have elected to it looks like he's on the hard compound tire, Sophion, but
yes, of
nonetheless,
course.
he is. Okay, so if he is on the hards, of course, he's going to not have to make another pit stop in this race. Now, I don't expect the medium tires to do so either. But it should be very, very interesting. I believe all the drivers have served their mandatory pit stop to go onto a different tire. So they should be going till the end of the race on their current tire. Of course, drivers like Glonzo will have to make another pit stop, but the rest of the drivers should be good to go till the end of the race.
Bre, I think from Excel team, the Velocity, representing Velocity for today, I think he was involved also in this accident that also happened to get out the safety car. So maybe that's why he's in the 17th place, also with fresh tires. But we have different penalties, as I told you. From the top 5 position, we have Simeon. We have that he also took a 3-second time penalty, which for sure doesn't take any advantage for him to get the best place in this race, because right now, after 17 laps, maybe in the 18th lap, we will have the safety car in this lap.
We'll have to wait and see, though. But as you said, lap 17 of 36 under safety car conditions. Glanza leads this Austrian Grand Prix with Josh 2 behind him in second position, Michael Pache in third position, fourth position for rotation, Simi rounding off the top 5 at the moment. So we're just getting ready to see if we're going to get that notification. The safety car is starting to speed up a little bit, so I think we may see the safety car come in on this lap.
This is going to be exciting. This is going to be exciting for sure, because exactly, safety car in this lap, but this is going to be exciting for sure because Michael Pache have the pace to win this race. Of course, just two, he was leading from the beginning, so I'm pretty sure that he's confident in this race win. But for sure, they're on the same tires now. They're in the same strategy, and they're almost on the same laps for tire wear, because Michael Pache have 2 laps with that medium tires, and Josh 2 have 1 lap. For Glanza, I have 16 laps, but I'm pretty sure also Glanza that he needs to make another stop, because he can't take and risk too much with those tires.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Glanza gets us back underway. We are about to be under green flag racing conditions. Josh, too, has had a really nice restart in this race. That medium tire, that newer medium tire, really coming into effect, giving him that pace advantage over Glanza. Coming in the turn 1 now. Will he make a challenge on the inside? A little bit of problem, though, from the rear for Josh, too. He had a little bit of oversteer right there, but thankfully he got the car back under control. Josh 2, though, in the slipstream now looks to be a move on the inside from one of the ISRL drivers. And now, there might be contact between Bachi and Simi as they were very, very close to each other. And rotation is up into fourth position. Simi down to fifth. Is Simi going to challenge on the inside? Yes, he is. And he's going to make a big dive and sow some lockup. Contact with rotation. Rotation has to take the off track right there, and he won't be too happy about that one. Simi back up in the fourth position. Rotation now down to fifth with Pharaoh Fury and Sophion behind him as teammates. But Josh 2, nonetheless, very, very close to the back of Gonza. He's looking to try to make an overtake soon. He's got that newer medium tire, and surely will be making a move come maybe this next lap, in fact, as Gonza is struggling on that older medium tire to get the power back on, to get the grip in those turns. He needs it. And we may see Josh 2 come this next DRS straight, make the pass on Gonza for the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix, putting on the overtake. He's got the DRS. Gonza's not going to have a lot to do in terms of a defense. He's going to move to the inside line. That's the optimal line to have into that turn. Now the switchback from Josh 2. Here we go. Back on the power. They're side by side coming down this next DRS straight. Josh 2 will still have the DRS, though, I believe. And now coming down towards the turn, he's going to have to move on the inside, and he gets the move on the inside. And Gonza almost doesn't make a defense in that turn, and he's going to keep with the lead. And now look at that. Pachi tried to make a move. He had to clip the grass a little bit there, though, so that's not optimal. But Josh 2, nonetheless, has taken the lead of this Grand Prix.
I think this was a very good teamwork done by the Velocity Esports team. Glanza stayed out. He didn't go in to make another stop. There was a safety car, but I'm pretty sure that helped out.
They crashed. And that's Sophion and Mivako. And they've had contact. And they make more contact. Sophion crashes into, oh my goodness. And that could have been major trouble. But for Knight, but there's been more contact between the ISRL Esports drivers, some clumsy driving at the back of the grid there, and now Sophion and Mivako, they're both going to have to make pit stops, and that's put them out of this race, essentially, as we're under virtual safety car, lap 20 of 36. Some very, very clumsy driving from the ISRL Esports team right there at the bottom of the grid right there. Sophion and Mivako having problems. Not only that, but Sophion, after hit Mivako, was it an accident or was it just some anger from Sophion? Not too sure what happened right there, but nonetheless, they've crashed, and that is not good for both of those drivers. And he almost hit Knight, actually, coming back on track.
He also risked it there. We didn't see a nice entry over there. There was another driver who was coming through. In fact, ghosting is not on, is off. So basically they need to stay aware that they can hit really each other if they don't see the track map. But we got a restart from that virtual safety car. In fact, Michael Patch is also having a little bit of distance against Josh 2. Simeon gets another 3-second time penalty. This is not good for Simeon for sure, because he will lose the podium. Also, he is third place. He have a 6-second penalty, 6-second time penalty. This is very well balanced if you see the top 10, but there's another sector, there's another accident.
There's another yellow flag.
Through. Yes, this is URC rotation. I don't know what happened with URC rotation. Let me check. Yes, URC rotation.
And he has damage on the front wing. Not again. I mean, he was pretty far up the grid, so not too sure what's happened right there. Rotation now near the bottom of the grid. And in these final stages, we don't expect for any more pit stops from drivers. So at the top 10 now really dominated by the Velocity drivers, with Josh 2 holding it on his own in the lead of this race. But it has not been the middle of the race that ISRL Esports would have liked to have had, and they are having a lot of problems. But Josh 2 is keeping up the lead of this race. So can he get the win overall for the ISRL Esports drivers? He's got a 2-second lead ahead of Michael Pachi.
This is a very good advantage for Josh 2. In fact, he needs to stay away from penalties. We know that a penalty can change the whole podium and the whole result. This is a very good lap by Haller. He had a 1 minute 5 seconds 0.792. This is the fastest lap. In fact, he's in top 10 position, so he can get an extra point for that. And that helps also the Velocity Esports team. Right now, we're seeing a nice battle between Simi and Michael Patch. They're from the same team. team. But Simi, we don't need to forget that he have a 6-second time penalty, and Michael Patch right now is also increasing the time after Josh 2. In fact, he is at 2 seconds away from Josh 2.
Having a little bit of lag, but I'm back. It looks like I'm back, all good to go. But Michael Pache, as he said, they're 1.9 seconds the gap between Josh 2 and him. So Josh 2 is keeping the gap about around 2 seconds. Neither of the drivers have penalties right now. Penalties could become very crucial, though, if either of them pick it up. They do not want to do so. Feral Fury currently sits in 4th position. Feral Fury's had a very hectic race of his own, but somehow finds himself there in 4th position, just outside the podium. In fact, he can get a podium if he stays within there. Jerome Vasseur is looking to make a pass there on the inside of Daryl Potch, but he decides against it, and maybe will make a pass now on this DRS straight. He's got the overtake activated. He's going to look to make a move on the inside, and looks to be very close. Daryl Potch giving him a little room on that inside line, but is a good move right there. Now Daryl Potch makes the switchback as expected on that turn, but Jerome Vasseur just got back on the power much quicker, maybe used a little bit of his overtake, and Jerome Vasseur up into 7th position ahead of Daryl Potch. And another move, and it's Sweet Crown 19 and Mandukinator who are going side by side, and Sweet Crown 19 makes the move up into 9th position, and Mandukinator trying to make a pass up into 9th position on Sweet Crown 19, but Sweet Crown 19's not having any of it. And another pass looks to be Glonza, who has made a pass on ISRL Knight. He is on new soft tires, so that's rather expected. Glonza is going to be very quick in the last stages of this race.
There's another also nice action between the top 3 drivers, with Simeon also catching Michael Patch, but Ferry is also catching Simi. In fact, it's less than a half of a second between those two. There's a DRS advantage also for Ferry. He needs to keep also aware of the penalty that Simeon have. In fact, he have a 6-second time penalty. So right now, Simeon is not even in the top 6 position. So right now, if you see everything for all the penalties, there's first place Josh 2, Michael Patch is the 2nd place, and the 3rd place is Ferry for the ISRL team.
Rotation actually just gained fastest lap. I'm sure he put on the soft tires and is going to go till the end of the race. We're on lap 24 of 36. We're getting near the end of this Austrian Grand Prix, and as Josh 2 leads it from Michael Patch, Simi on the podium at the moment, but he's got a 6-second time penalty, and that is not going to help him out. VR46 Yarno gets another penalty, and it looks like somebody else from the Velocity team picked up a penalty, but nonetheless, we are on lap... Oh, there's a pit stop.
There's a pit stop exactly from Haller. I think he's going for the soft tires now. This is gonna be... Yes. The internet is playing not very well for you, Noah.
As per usual with Discord, it's never too nice to me, but nonetheless, a pit stop from Haller, and now Haller's got to replace his front wing. So he had damage on his front wing right there. He's going to put on that soft tire. That's put Haller all the way down to 15th on lap 25 of 36. There's been a pass, it looks like.
Simi just passed Michael Patch for the 2nd place. Although he have a penalty also. This is a very bad battle.
I don't understand this. Why this battle? Simi has penalties. Michael Patch does not.
But also you need to remember that Simi have a very good pace to chase Josh 2. Maybe he can also at least give him a little bit of a battle, although he is 2.8 seconds ahead.
But again, Simi has a 6-second time penalty, so even if he gets close to Josh 2, is he going to be able to beat out in terms of penalties? I don't think that's the case. And now Michael Ponchi now almost 3 seconds behind Josh 2. Now 2.5 now, so he's gained a little bit of it back, but I don't believe that's the smartest decision between those two drivers to be battling if you want to catch up to the leader.
I'm pretty sure also that they have communication right now, so maybe they're not happy about this move. But if a driver have a better pace, it's better if he go for the overtake, and then he will keep increasing the pace. Of course, the best driver wins, but also they need to play as a team, as ISRL are doing and also Velocity are doing. Maybe we've seen some accidents between both teams from the same team, but I'm pretty sure that it was mostly from different teams.
Nonetheless, We are on lap 26 of 36, about to begin lap number 27, bringing in those final 10 laps of this Grand Prix. And you can see there, Monducanator very, very close to the back of Daryl Potch, and he's trying to make it look like a pass on the inside. Daryl Potch goes very, very wide, and Monducanator has to get out of the way. Daryl Potch has problems, and now XL Bray is going to make the pass on his teammate, just about looking on the inside, has made the move before turn number 1. So Daryl Potch is having problems on those medium compound tires, and he's not able to keep up the pace. And Monducanator now up into 8th position. XL Bray now looks to make a move, a more calculated move on the outside. And now this is getting very interesting between the velocity drivers right there, because you saw there Monducanator almost cuts across Daryl Potch as XL Bray went ahead of him, and that could have been problems if he had not broke as he correctly, if he should have. A little bit of a lockup, but the velocity drivers maybe have to be a little more cleaner with these calculated overtakes if they have any chance of getting closer up, because right now it's looking like a pretty good ISRL Esports top 7 right now. Sweet Crown 19 and Jerome Vasseur 6th and 7th, with Feral Fury still up there in 4th position. Granted, does have a penalty, but so does Yaku. Sweet Crown 19 and Frizzer also have penalties. XL Bray might be a bit of a sleeper right here. He does not have a penalty, but he is 2.8 seconds back from that pack.
A lot of penalties are going through. Manduka, he just got another 3 seconds penalty. Simi, he got another 3 seconds penalty. So have a total of 9 seconds of a penalty. This is going to push him through a lot of stress for sure, and pressure as he is going down the grid because of those penalties. There's Jerome Vizer, which have a 5 seconds time penalty, but also there's Daryl Potch, which have 6 seconds penalty, and another driver who have a lot of penalties. This is VR46 Yarno, who have a 17 seconds time penalty.
So there is a lot of penalties right there, as you saw. For VR46 Yarno, he had a 5 second before the start of the race. He's now racked up 17 seconds. He might be getting into disqualification territory if he's not too careful. ISRL Knight, as you said, he's picked up about 12 seconds worth of penalties. A driver who does tend to pick up a little bit more penalties near the end of the race, does take a little bit more lines to try to gain some pace. Right now, it's not working out too well. Currently sitting in 15th position at the moment. But there is Yarno. Nonetheless, he is trying to find a pass, and there another 3 second time penalty. That's up to 20 seconds now for VR46 Yarno. He's trying to look to make a pass on Kurt Valletta, who does not have any penalties himself, sitting in 11th position. He might find himself further up the top 10 than he was expecting, given that he's kept pretty clean in this race.
No, right now there's a very good battle, as Mario was showing before. Yaku is also increasing and catching Feral Fury. In fact, there's a less than a second. Right now he locked up his tires, but also for Yaku, he have a less tire wear on those mediums. But right now, this is gonna be a good battle, because Michael Potch, he got back also to the 2nd place, and Michael Potch is also increasing his pace and also getting a lot of nice slipstream from Simeon. So that worked very well indeed.
I want to also mention Feral Fury is getting pretty close as well to Simi, about 0.5 of a second separate. Sorry, 0.2 of a second separating. It looks like between those two, so they're getting very, very close to each other as well. Might be looking for a pass. Jerome Vasseur is maybe looking for a pass on his teammate Sweet Crown 19. We'll have to wait and see if that happens or not. But there you are, Feral Fury right there under pressure from Yaku, but also trying to put the pressure on Simi, who is behind his teammate Michael Potch by about 0.6 of a second. Josh 2 still leading this Grand Prix, and all that looked to be somebody they were lapping right there. Looks to be so our first lap, and we have some yellow flags going down. And what is going on here? Not too sure what those yellow flags are for, but somebody's had a problem, and that is, is it Knight? I'm not sure. Rotation
yes, it was Knight, because he went off track and he got also a 3 second time penalty, which he have a total of 15 seconds time penalty. Right now, Feral Fury, he needs to keep in mind that if he gets a penalty, Yaku can also take his podium for the 3rd place. Because for sure Simeon, he's not gonna keep his podium with 9 seconds. But also Michael Potch is only 1.2 seconds away from the leader of this race. Josh 2 is doing very well, but Michael Potch, he also needs to remember not to get that penalty, because he's on the 2nd warning, and Josh 2, he's on the 2nd warning as well. This is gonna be a nice race.
Ooh, that's another penalty for Jerome Vasseur. picking up 3 seconds behind Sweet Crown 19. There's a pass, and it's Yaku who's made the pass on Feral Fury. Feral Fury, though, is back up into 4th position, so they were going side by side for a little bit. And Yakuza lost a lot of time, actually. The Feral Fury's now back by about 2 seconds, so something must have happened.
Yes,
'cause
he
Yakuza
lost
a lot of time.
control. He lost control to this car, and in fact, now Sweet Crown 19, he's very, very close to pass on Jakku.
So Yaku having some problems, and Sweet Crown 19 trying to make up that advantage and possibly get himself up.
Josh
into
2 gets a 3-second time penalty. This is also crucial for Josh 2 because Michael Patch, he doesn't have any penalties, and he's less than a second away from his rival Josh 2. So now Michael Patch, I'm really sorry Noah for cutting out over there, but this is something that I'm really exciting to see. Michael Patch, can he overtake Josh 2? Josh 2 right now, can he get over 3 seconds with the pace? Michael Patch needs to be aware that he doesn't have any penalty right now, and right now he's winning the race.
So Josh 2 is up in 1st position, but for how much longer? As you said, he has a penalty. So Fion has picked up another penalty. Michael Patch has kept it clean in this race so far and does not have a penalty yet, but he has a bit of a lockup right there. He has to keep it close to Josh 2 within 3 seconds, or else he is not going to have this win under his belt. He also has to keep it within track limits until the end of this race. He is near the end of the race. We don't know if he has any warnings on himself. We don't
Right now
warnings.
we're seeing drivers struggling because of the blue flags. They're not even trying to give up their position to their other fellow driver. So they need to be aware that if they don't give up the position, they can give them a 3-second time penalty. In fact, Yakko, he got another 3-second time penalty in the 6th place right now. He have a 6-second penalty, but also Sofian,
he's under pressure right now.
He got Sofian.
Sir.
Sofian, he got a 10-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags. This is the 2nd time. If he do it another time, he's disqualified from the session.
Some drama here at the end, lap 33, and look at this, Feral Fury's made a pass on Simi, up in the 3rd position. So Feral Fury has not decided to wait for penalties. He wants that move now. Now the big thing for him is Feral Fury might, oh, look at this, a big pass from Simi on the inside, a huge dive bomb from Simi, and he goes back up into 3rd position. Now again, I wouldn't be battling in this sort of situation. If I was Simi, I might just decide to sit back. You don't want to have a situation where you've made a risky move and it costs you more positions because he has a lot of penalties riding on him. So Fion, a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. So a lot of drivers getting caught up in blue flag situations right now due to the fact that they're racing. So Fion is under a lot of pressure. Simi has another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, even more penalties to be racked up onto the end of his time. Michael Pachi, though, still with 3 laps to go, but he's losing a lot of time now, 2 seconds that gap. So he's got to get close. Josh 2 has now made the pass on Sofian, his Ferrari teammate, and that is some good teamwork right there. Josh
I
2.
think that exactly the DRS is helping also the driver to get
a yellow flag. We've had problems. Yaku and Feral Fury, they both dropped down some positions, and Sweet Crown 19 and Visser have taken them.
Yes, in fact, there was a little bit of an accident between those two, but everything is regular and everything is clean, let's say.
Now, I don't know if Josh 2 has picked up on the fact that there is some problems. Michael Patch has lost a lot of time, and now he is almost outside of 3 seconds from Josh 2, so he needs to be aware.
He needs to be aware. I think the tires of Michael are starting to have a little bit much more wear than Josh 2. In fact, he wasn't doing a very good tire management. This is I think there's only 2 laps left, of course. He's 2.9 seconds. If he doesn't get that penalty, right now he's still winning, but no. Right now, Michael Patch is it's more than 2 seconds. It's more than 2 seconds ahead of Michael Patch. So right now the victory, it's all for the ISRL team and Josh 2.
It's very, very, very close. It's a race of penalties now, in fact. But Michael Simi is still in 3rd position, though he has a lot of penalties. Sweet Crown 19 and Jerome Visser might be looking at moving up a position after Simi takes his penalties. They do have penalties on their own right, but it's not as much as Simi. So Simi is picking up a lot. Daryl Potch has picked up a penalty. And Jerome Visser now is battling a little bit with Yaku, who is down in 6th position. So we'll have to wait and see how that battle goes. As you said there, Michael Potch, he is right out of that 3-second window. As we're about to begin one more lap of this Austrian Grand Prix. Josh 2 is about to begin it right there. As you can see, he's coming across the start-finish line to begin the final lap of this Austrian Grand Prix. Josh 2 leading it by 3.2 seconds. It's that gap he needs in order to keep the lead of this race. He cannot afford to get one more penalty in this race. Michael Potch, 3.3 seconds back. He needs to get back within now 3.5 seconds the gap. He's really starting to lose the time on this final lap. Not what he needs. Another 3-second time penalty from ISRL Knight. Penalty galore right now in this Austrian Grand Prix. Really hard to keep it in the track limits, it seems like. But look at this. Michael Potch, 3.7 seconds. He just may not have that pace. Simi in third position. He's going to be dropping down some positions for sure in this race. So it's going to be a very different looking podium than you'd imagine. But it's a very dominant top 10 so far for the Velocity drivers. They're well up there in terms of overall points, it looks like. But Josh 2 is going to stay alive. 4.2 seconds that gap. Josh 2 is looking for the victory here as he comes around the penultimate turn. And then the final turn, Josh 2 is going to win the Austrian Grand Prix. An emphatic win right there. After the penalty situation, he comes across the line. Michael Potch will come across the line as well, and that gap will get smaller, but it will not be enough. Sweet Crown 19 completes the podium, gets ahead of Simi, and Simi's going to drop down some position. No, look at this. It's actually going to be Excel Bree and Michael Potch who are on the podium. Sweet Crown 19 just dropping out by about a second after penalties. So it is a penalty for Sweet Crown 19, just enough to get him out of the podium. So Excel Bray and Michael Potch will get it. But it is Josh 2 who wins it overall from all of the drivers here for ISRL Esports in the race.
What a fantastic 36 laps we had, Noah. I think you agree with me that we had a fantastic action. We've had fantastic clean racing also by all the drivers. We had some accidents, but for sure they were not intended. But Josh 2, he deserves all the win. He also dominated the qualifying. Michael Potch, who went very through from the third place to the second place. Those 3 seconds penalties didn't help him because Michael Potch also was losing a lot. Maybe the battle between Simi and Michael Potch, in fact, lost a lot of tire wear for the Velocity Esports team. And I think for the top 10, it's true that it's dominated by the Velocity Esports racing team, but for sure, right now, for driver of the day, we have Glanza, which took the driver of the day by the game. Maybe he's the one that gained a lot of different positions. But for sure, as I was gonna say before, both ISRL and both Velocity members, they performed very well together.
But it is the gold of Michael Schumacher. The only time I like seeing the Crimson Chin on the podium, because Josh 2 has won this race. Michael Potch in second position. And it is XL Bray who actually finishes off the podium. A bit of surprise there. We weren't too sure what was going on with the penalties overall, but let's look at the rest of the positions there. Josh 2 wins it. Michael Potch in second position. Third for XL Bray. Sweet Car 19 in fourth position. Jakku rounds off the top 5. Simi in sixth position. Jerome Vasseur in seventh. Monducanator in eighth position. Ninth for Kurt Valata. And Glanza finishes off the top 10. Daryl Potch in 11th position. 12th for Haller. Feral Fury in 13th position, 14th for Yarno. And if we can just see the rest of the grid right there to round off the top of it, Mario, if we can just get down.
In fact, 15th place, there's ISRL Knight. 16th place, there's the URC Rotation from Sweden. 17th place, we have Sofian from France. The 18th place, we had Mivako from Belgium. 19th place, we have the German driver, Chappelle. And the 20th place will go to the Velocity Esports driver team, which is Wayne Schkamp. Exactly after this break, we will go for the Suzuka 25% sprint race with me and together with the American commentator, all true from ISL Esports team. It's Noah. You back right now. We just took off with the formation lap, but of course this is the 25% reverse grid. This time we are going to race in Japan. In fact, we have the reverse grid from number 10, I think it was. Yes.
It looks like it's the top 10, yep. So we're back live right now with the Japanese Grand Prix. Again, it's a 25% sprint race. So only 13 laps here around the Suzuka circuit. So it's going to be a very interesting one right now. But the big thing for us is that this is not looking too good for the ISRL Esports team. Not a lot of drivers in the top 10 right there. Mandukinator is going to start first. Jerome Vasseur in second. Simi in third, fourth for Yaku, Sweet Crown 19 in fifth, XL Bray in sixth, seventh for Michael Potch. Josh 2 starts in seventh, eighth for ninth. Ninth for Kurt Valletta, 10th for Glanza, 11th for Potch, Daryl, 12th for Haller, 13th for Feral Fury, ISRL VR46 and 14th, ISR Knight in 15th, URC Rotation in 16th, Sofian in 17th, Mivako in 18th, FRO Chappelle in 19th, and Wayne is going to start at the bottom in 20th. So it is not the starting positions that the ISRL Esports team we're going to be looking for as we get start and ready for this Japanese Grand Prix sprint race.
As you are following us on Facebook for the Velocity Esports followers and also the ones on YouTube for the ISRL Esports channel, right now you can support us also by going on our social media and like our pages. I'm sure that ISRL also have their own page on Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram. Maybe you have your own Instagram.
I have my own Instagram. You can follow me, Allied Pride Official. It's from my Twitch page where I stream on there. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, you can also follow us on Instagram, ISRL Esports on Instagram. So if you're interested in joining in on the action and watching abroad from the Velocity there in Malta, I'm sure many of you watching live on the Facebook are. You can join us there. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready for those 5 red lights to come on for this Japanese Grand Prix. And it's 3, 4, 5. And the sprint race here in Japan is go. It was a long 5 red lights, but Mandukinator gets us underway. Jerome Vasseur slots in behind. And here we go. Coming into turn 1, always a crazy scene. Let's see what happens. There's spins for some Velocity drivers down there. Sweet Crown 19 already up in the 4th position. And big contact. And it's a big colossal of crashes there at the back. And there is some contact between some ISRL drivers, some contact between Velocity. There was contact all abroad there.
Just there was one retirement from Yaku, a lot of different penalties. Wayne again, he took another penalty. 5-second penalty for Sofian, another penalty for ISRL Knight, another penalty for Chappelle. But this is so unfortunate for the team captain for this Velocity Esports Racing team, Yaku, where he was retired on the first lap in the first corner.
But nonetheless, Mandukinator leads this Grand Prix. Now, really unfortunate, though, for all of the ISRL Esports drivers, because Sophian, Knight, Chappelle, they all have penalties. So does Wayne for velocity, but 3 penalties already of 5 seconds for the ISRL Esports drivers that may have to be served on their pit stops if they in fact do make their pit stops, which I believe even on the 25%, they do in fact have to do so. We're under VSC conditions right now, but nonetheless, that is not the start they would have liked to have had here. Looks as though Theon's making a pass on Feral Fear. Not too sure why under VSC they're doing that, but nonetheless, we're back under racing conditions, and Mandukinator leads this. As you can see, although there's a pass right there between 2 of the ISRL Esports drivers, and look to be Rotation who makes the inside pass, and now the outside pass. Now there's contact again. These ISRL Esports drivers not being too kind to each other. Rotation is into the pit lane, so is Knight, so is Chappelle, and there's a whole bunch of pit stops happening right now. As Kurt Velade spinning Josh 2. Josh 2 has a problem, and Kurt Velade hit him from the back, and now Josh 2 is having problems down at 14th position, and he's having more issues. Now he's got to defend against Daryl Pache, but I gotta be honest with you right here, those esports drivers, oh, look at this, a double stock in the pit lane right there, as that was not good from looks to be Rotation. And now we can see, looks to be, as we update the grid order right here, I'm not too sure what's going on. The lineup right there on the side is not working as it should.
A little
but
bit of a
nonetheless-
glitch, yes. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Michael Pache didn't lose that much positions because it was being shown that he's on the 16th place. But right now, I'm seeing that there was one driver which is with the wet tires. I think that's a mistake.
Who is that? That looks
That's
to be
Feral Fury.
Feral Fury's put on the wet compound tire.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out to confirm. But yes, he's with the wet tires.
Yes,
So
the wet compound tire, and that is a major botch from Feral Fury. And I can't believe this has been an absolutely awful start for the ISRL Esports drivers. Josh 2 will not be happy with that contact from Kurt Valletti as well, though. He hit him from the back, it looks like, a little bit, and there might be some discussions after the race. I can tell you that the ISRL Esports teammates, they are not too happy about some of the driving, at least they've seen so far, just some insider knowledge from there. But nonetheless, Sweet Crown 19 is up in the 3rd position with Jerome Versur in 4th. As it stands right now, it is 43 points to ISRL Esports, 58 points to Velocity as it stands right now. Very easily, Velocity is going to win this competition overall in terms of the points. In terms of the wins overall, though, it is split right now if Mandukinator wins this race. But he's got Sweet Crown 19 and Jerome Vasseur in the background right there, who will be trying to possibly get up towards the lead of this race and take the lead of this race.
In fact, we have a very nice pace by Mandukinator. He's on the soft tires. I don't know if starting with the soft and then going on medium is the best strategy out of all, but I'm pretty sure that Mandukinator, he can get the job done, and he can also bring the victory home for Velocity. That's what we want for our drivers to win this race. So go on, Mandukinator. Let's hope to win for Malta and also for Velocity.
So Mandukinator leads this Japanese Grand Prix. Jerome Vasseur right there in 4th position, chasing down his teammate, Sweet Crown 19. Sweet Crown 19 sitting in 3rd position. Simi still in now at 2nd position, so he's back up into the podium positions. Can he keep it in the podium positions this time, not pick up too many penalties?
There's a nice battle also. There's a nice battle also between the 5th and 6th place. Right now, it's a tough battle between the 2 Velocity drivers. We have Haller and Michael Pudge battling it out together. Who's gonna take the 5th place? Right now, Haller is in the lead. In fact, I think Michael Pudge wasn't battling it out very hard, and Haller takes the 5th position. And Axel Bre is doing a fantastic job with those soft tires as well. That is only 1 second away from Jerome Visser.
So Jerome Vasseur right now, the only man in the top 9 right there for the ISRL Esports crew. Sweet Crown did make his pit stop, so there's a lot of medium tire runners right now, though, in this group, as all of those drivers who have those penalties have served those penalties. So Fion does have a 3-second. He cannot serve that. That will be applied towards the end of the race. We are on lap number 4, though, of 13, and you can see right there Kurt Vallada, who is chasing down Michael Potch, might be looking for an overtake. Now it is a little bit of racing from the Velocity drivers as they are very much comfortably in control right now in the points positions right now. So they still have to make their pit stops soon, eventually, as Kurt Vallada has moved to the inside lane and has made the pass on Michael Potch pretty easily before 130R and is up into sixth position behind his teammate Haller by about 1.8 seconds.
It seems like another driver from the ISRL. He went into the pits. Jerome Vizer, who was third place, and right now he's in the pits. He was with the medium tires, and right now he took the soft tires. And another ISRL driver, he got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
That's Yarno.
That's a very careless penalty to take. In fact, and that will for sure make you lose time, both when you're serving out the pit and changing the tires, or else if you need to serve it after the race ends.
Yeah, it has not been too good for VR46 Yarno. He's had a lot of problems in these races, and he's picked up quite a fair bit of penalties right there.
Look at that, Noah, look at that. Like Manducanator, he is managing to get a very good race pace. In fact, he is 6.2 seconds ahead of the Axel Bre, which is still in the Velocity Esports team right now. We have the top 3 drivers. They didn't make any stop yet, but for sure, actually, they are the top 5 drivers from Velocity.
Kwanzaa has had some problems. He got passed right there from Mivako. Mivako up into 8th position. His teammate Sophion in 7th. Now a battle between Daryl Potch and Michael Potch. So the two Potch men right there having a little bit of a battle, but Daryl has made the pass on Michael. Michael following a little bit closely. Are they going to have a little bit of a race here right now as he looks towards the chicane, possibly for an overtake, but has decided against it. And Daryl Potch will continue in P5. So it is a all top 6 right now for those Velocity drivers. But they still have to make some pit stops soon. They are on those soft compound tires that will not last towards the end of this race. So they do have to make pit stops, also mandatory, of course, with the fact that this is still a 25% race. Sweet Crown 19 makes a pass on the inside of Simi and goes up in the 7th position. Simi looks to go on the inside, but Sweet Crown 19 closes the door on that affair and moves up into 7th position behind Mivako. Simi will try to catch back up, but he is on medium tires, and there is a bit of a pace deficit towards the mediums from the softs. So the softs, definitely a faster tire. Suica 19 may look to make a bit of a gap to Simi so that he can keep up that gap when those soft tires do start to run out their lifespan.
I think all eyes need to be on Sweet Crown right now. He is on the fresh softs, and he have also, I think, around 7 laps more to finish this race. I think it was a fantastic strategy by him, but also Manducanator, when he's gonna pit, is he gonna pit now or is he gonna pit another lap? For sure, medium are a little bit less fast on this track, but if you do it well, if you do it good, the undercut the overcut actually, it will be very good, well served by all the drivers, and I'm pretty sure Manducanator will now go for the win if it stays like this. In fact, Manducanator, he just got the medium tires and he went into the pit.
So we'll see how he can do it right there. Sweet Crown 19 is still coming around the track. It's about 21 seconds, that gap. Manducanator should pretty much keep the lead of this race. Mivako is now coming right there. Mivako might try the challenge, though. On the outside, coming in the turn 1, Mivako just stays behind. Manducanator keeps up there in the medium tire, but do be warned, Mivako, really not the challenge, but Sweet Crown 19 on that soft compound tire, those new softs. So can Sweet Crown 19 challenge Manducanator possibly to take the lead of this Japanese Grand Prix on lap 7 of 13? New softs should last till the end and should be very fast till the end. Sweet Crown 19 goes by Mivako. Mivako does not make up a challenge. He wants to give Sweet Crown all the opportunity to make a challenge on Manducanator. Can he do it here in Japan? Sweet Crown 19, a very popular driver here at the Japanese Grand Prix, and he will be looking to make it a victory for himself here. Now Mivako has problems because it's Simi behind him who's challenging him, and he may make a look on the inside And Mivako challenges against it. Simi looks back on the inside. Now goes a little wide off track. That might lose him some time. But Simi, nonetheless, he's still well up there with Mivako. Mivako having trouble. Of course, he's on those those older soft tires, and they're going to start to wear out. Is he going to make a pass around 130 yard? Very, very close. Simi off track. He gets pushed a little bit from Mivako, and Simi tried to make a move around 130 yard. It didn't quite work. But now Mivako back under pressure from Simi. Simi losing it a little bit with those medium tires. Now Shirley will make the pass on Mivako down the straight. There he goes. Simi up into 6th position. Sweet Crown 19, that gap. 1.8 seconds to Manduko. Can he get that gap a little bit closer? Can he possibly find himself winning this Japanese Grand Prix? Keep in mind, we still might have penalties. Glanza is out of this race.
Yes, Glanza just had also an accident. He retired.
And VSC.
Yes, exactly. There's a VSC, which also helps, I think, Haller to get also the pit stop done right now. Since there's a VSC, right now, Kurt Valletta, Daryl Potch, and Haller, the three of them, they have 7 laps on those soft tires, which is also decreasing their advantage right now on Manducanator. In fact, it's only I think it's around 13, 14 seconds, which Manducanator right now is gaining from those 3, which is from his own team. So maybe this is gonna be a team play between all of them.
Now the big thing though is that Haller, Kurt, and Daryl, they all have to still make pit stops in those 7-lap-old softs. Meanwhile, there is a big glop of ISRL Esports drivers who are going to be catching up soon and do not have to make pit stops again. Besides Mivako, of course, he does have to make his pit stop. And they, Haller, Kurt, and Daryl, they have decided not to do so. The longer they stay out, and Daryl, though, he has a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC under the restart there. That is a disastrous time for Daryl because he's made his pit stop now. Is that going to be for the tire chain, or does he have to come around again for the drive-through penalty? So Daryl coming through there, and yes, so it's going to be the drive-through penalty, but he still has to pit again for the soft tire. So a crucial loss right there for Daryl Patch, as he is going to have some problems. Now Mivako, Josh 2, and Jerome Vasseur up in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, but do keep in mind Mivako still does have to make that pit stop. But Haller has not yet made a pit stop. Manducanator has. Sweet Crown 19 will go up into 2nd position when Manducanator goes up into 1st, but Haller, this is looking okay for the ISRL Esports drivers. They may have a chance here to pull it rather close, if not take the victory here overall points-wise in this league versus league event.
I think also right now there's a problem of connection with Josh too. I think it's a little bit of red bars. It may also affect the other drivers after him, behind him. But I'm pretty sure also that the other drivers are trying also to gain advantage on the other drivers of their own teams right now, because we have at least 2 drivers who are from the same team that are also behind each other. So maybe also they're gaining a little bit of slipstream from their own teammates.
Haller has not yet made a pit stop. He's on 9-lap-old soft tires. This is very, very difficult. I have to imagine how old those tires are. But does Haller know he has to make a pit stop? Because
can you imagine? How many tire wear he have right now?
It has to be a lot. But is he aware he does have to make a pit stop? Because he is going to be disqualified from this race, or at least a 20-second time penalty if he doesn't make that mandatory stop.
In fact, right now, I think Velocity are on the loose end from the top 10, because we saw that the strategy for ISRL is proving right more than the Velocity one. Manducanator still is leading, and right now Sweet Crown is about to get a little bit of more tire wear, which Manducanator will be in advantage of that for sure.
Also, we have to mention, though, Michael Potch does have a penalty of about Yarno has that penalty of 5 seconds. Apologies for that. So he has that 5-second penalty, so he's going to drop back a little bit from his ISRL teammates, so not too much to worry in terms of that kind of positions. But Haller still has to make that pit stop. He is on 9-lap-old softs, about to become 10-lap-old softs. Now, Haller does have to make a mandatory pit stop in this race. It's 25%. He does decide not to do it yet, so we're about to begin lap number 11 now. So Haller, this is a very interesting strategy in this race. He has not yet made a pit stop, and I don't not too sure why.
I don't know exactly why, but this is not for sure a good strategy by him. He's going to lose a lot of different positions. Maybe if he goes into the pits and comes back, maybe 10th place or even less.
It's gonna be very interesting. So he's losing a lot of positions right now. It's very divvied up right now with the ISRL Esports drivers. Mivako has not yet made that pit stop either, so he's gonna have to do that soon, and he's gonna be dropping out of the top 10. Yarno will take his place though, so he will now go up into the top 10. So it's very interesting here from the
Sweet Crown is struggling a bit with those tires as well. As you can see, Manduka is increasing the pace in front of him, and right now Manduka, I think he have around 5 seconds of advantage.
Yeah, those soft tires are starting to lose the end of their lifespan in terms of overall pace. Jerome Vasseur, he has problems. He has a little bit of a issue right there. He's behind Josh too. It is rather imperative, though, that these drivers do not do battles in these last few laps, especially if they're teammates, because these last points positions, they may decide the championship. Haller is in the lead of this race, has not yet made a pit stop to go on to a new set of tires, and he finally does so. Into the pits as Haller. Mandukinator is going to take the lead of this Japanese Grand Prix. Sweet Crown 19 will move up into second position. Simi will move up into third position.
But also Simi is catching the driver ahead, Sweet Crown. In fact, he's only, I think, around 2 seconds ahead of him. Yes, 2.4 seconds. The lead before 2 laps ago, it was around 4 seconds. So now he's catching the driver ahead.
So this is very, very interesting. XL Bray, and there's a good group of velocity drivers, 6th, 7th, and 8th in this race. But now some pit stops from Mivako. So Mivako moves out, and VR46 Yarno up in the 10th position. Michael Potch down in 11th position. Yarno does have a 5-second time penalty, though, so he is going to lose that position in 10th if it is not an overtake that he loses it, by the way, as Michael Potch is catching up a little bit to him. So it's going to be interesting in terms of points overall. Who is going to win this? I still have a feeling Velocity may have the upper edge, and Potch now picks up 3-second time penalty.
Michael Potch, exactly. He got a 3-second time penalty, but also Josh too got a 3-second time penalty, and that also put him away from that 4th position that he have right now.
So, but for Jerome Vasseur, we'll take that back. Simi is still in 3rd position. Sweet Crown 19 in 2nd position. Here comes Michael Potch. Is he going to make a move on rotation? Rotation has a really big off, and that was very odd by Rotation. Rotation, does he have a crash? It looks like there's that yellow flag in Sector 2. Not too sure what happened there, but it's the final lap here. Mandukinator is going to start us off in the final lap, and he is looking towards the win here, as there was a little bit of a pass on the inside there at 130R, but look at Mandukinator really controlling the car well on that medium tire. About 2.1 seconds, that gap between Simi and Sweet Crown 19. I don't think there's going to be enough in the end of this race for Sweet Crown to lose that 2nd position. Simi will probably have to stick for 3rd position. Of course, given there may be some mistakes for many drivers, we'll have to wait and see. Josh 2 has that penalty. Jerome Vasseur should move up in the 4th position. XL Bray, though, might even be looking at the possibility of moving up ahead of Josh 2 if there is enough of if the gap has closed down just enough. We'll have to wait and see. Feral Fury picks up a penalty. He's down in 18th. He's not going to be much of a deciding factor in this championship battle. So it's looking good for Velocity, but there is a nice sizable gap of ISRL Esports drivers, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. So a good haul of points there. But Mandukinator, as he's coming through Sector 3, it's been a great race from him. It's been a pretty much a masterclass drive from him in this 25% sprint race as he's coming through the final chicane here at Suzuka. And it is Mandukinator from Velocity Esports Racing who is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix. An emphatic win from him. Sweet Crown 19 is going to come across the line and finish in 2nd position. And it's a great podium for Sweet Crown 19 after a definitely a very challenging race in Austria. Josh 2 loses, and now Josh 2 down to 7th position, and that is big, and that may seal the deal for the ISRL Esports team. And we'll have to wait and see overall in terms of points, but it's looking good for Velocity, especially with that double podium. And that was a very exciting Japanese Grand Prix.
Manducanator, he didn't won yet in the V1 Malta series, but he dominated this race from lap 1. Of course, he was in advantage. He finished 10th place in the last race in the Austria Spielberg Grand Prix, and now he is the winner of this 25% sprint race that we just seen right now, 13 laps in Japan, Suzuka. I think also Manducanator, it's one of his favorite tracks. So right now, I'm pretty happy for the Velocity team. I'm pretty happy also for the ISRL team, which dominated these tracks, and we also seen very nice clean racing and also a different action. Well done, Noah, for you as well, for one of the most amazing actions, let's say acted commentator of the year for sure.
I'm very glad to have commentated alongside you. There is a little bit of disagreement in the comment section, both from the Velocity stream and the ISRL stream. So Fion grabs driver of the day there from the game's point of view. So he must have had a pretty good race, and I'd say so to be true. But nonetheless, there is definitely some war of words in the comment section. So these drivers are definitely having some battles of words for the least. But nonetheless,
No,
it
Noah,
is a win.
Something else that I would like to add is that Adrian Manduca, which is Manducanator, is the only driver from the Velocity team that doesn't use any assist at all. So no racing line, no traction, and either or no ABS.
So nonetheless, it is Manducanator who wins it. Suiker 19 in second, Simi in third position, fourth for Vasseur, Excel Bray in fifth, sixth for Haller, Josh 2 in seventh position, eighth for Kurt Valletta, ninth for Sofian Chappelle in 10th, 11th for URC Rotation, Michael Potch in 12th, 13th for VR46 Yarno, 14th for Daryl Potch, Mevako in 15th, 16th for ISRL Knight. Wayne in 17th position, Feral Fury in 18th, 19th for Glanza, and 20th for Yaku. Both drivers, Glanza and Yaku, out of this Japanese Grand Prix. They did not finish the race. So that is it for the races. I'm sure we'll be getting a final points tally in just a few moments' time, and we will find out who has won the overall points, but it's a draw in terms of overall wins between ISRL Esports and Velocity.
This was one of an amazing event. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be the last time to collaborate with this amazing esports community, ISRL. Thank you, ISRL, for also joining us in this event. I think Velocity Esports Racing also made history today in Malta to also compete against these drivers from different countries. Maltese drivers of Velocity also managed to win against these drivers, but of course we need to see the final results that I'm pretty excited to see.
They are right there, and it is a win for Velocity here in the overall point standings. Velocity with 120 points, ISRL with 82 points, so it is a pretty dominant win by about 38 points between Velocity and ISRL Esports. So hats off to Velocity. They get the victory here in this league versus league event, but victory nonetheless for Velocity. I think it was a victory for both leagues because this was a super awesome event to be a part of, and I'm so happy to have commentated alongside you, From. It's your great first. If there's another win, you had a very good first English stream for yourself today.
Thanks a lot, Noah. It was also a pleasure for me to assist you in these races, in this event. It was one hell of an event, and I'm pretty sure that we will do something else in the future. Thanks also to all those followers that followed us both on the ISRL YouTube channel and also on our Facebook page of Velocity Esports Racing. But I'm pretty sure also that everyone is tired right now. In Malta right now, the time is around 11 o'clock at night. I think, Noah, you at your hometown, maybe it's around 4 o'clock, something like that.
It's about to be 5 o'clock, actually.
It's about to be 5
at the
o'clock
moment in the eastern seaboard of the United States.
But since also many of the drivers come from the Europe zone, I think also they're tired. And thanks a lot for all those comments that we've been receiving, both on the YouTube channel and both on the Facebook channel. So Noah, thanks for you. Thanks also to Mario Bellizzi for being one hell of a director. A lot of nice graphics, a lot of work going down. Thanks also to Knight for managing his own drivers, and also thanks to all of the drivers that competed tonight. From our end, we will see you next Sunday when we're going to have the Christmas Cup. The Christmas Cup, who's going to be a fun cup of 5-lap races. Then we have a 25% final race, but above all, this is a charity event where we're going to help the Food Bank Life Foundation, where we're going to donate and also get a lot of different guests. And this is going to be a pretty exciting event also. Thanks a lot, Noah. Thanks a lot to all ISRL followers and Velocity followers. This is it. Good night, and we will see you next Sunday.